Welcome to the Venari Podcast. I'm Tim Hartnell, and in this episode, I'll be speaking with Fabrice Clerc-Renaud. I've known Fabrice for quite a while now. Throughout his career, he's worked at some fantastic brands, including HP, Citroën, LEK, and more recently, he's worked with DS Smith, where he spent 6.5 years. As managing director, he worked with the CEO and launched a new division called ePack, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later in the podcast. Fabrice, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Tim. It's an honor to be here today.
Excellent. So, Fabrice, let's kick off the podcast. Do you want to start by maybe giving us a little bit of an introduction to ePack and the division, obviously, you set up at DS Smith?
Of course. So ePack was a division that basically was created in 2018. The reason why we created ePack was essentially to capture the growth of the e-commerce industry, while at the time at double-digit figures in the UK. And what we realized is that DSME didn't possess an operating model capable of selling packaging for the small and medium-sized companies, which account for between 40 to 60% of the e-commerce segment, according to the country, each country's level of maturity. Hence why we decided to create a new division that was operating slightly differently from the mainstream business, so we could offer sustainable packaging to our customers in small sizes and delivered next day.
Brilliant. I've heard about it obviously a lot through our conversations. It sounds like a fantastic project, and obviously really sort of, I guess, speaks to your entrepreneurial sort of character that obviously you have. So yeah, it sounds like a really great project. I wondered obviously what challenges maybe you faced along the way. Maybe you could sort of speak to our listeners about that.
Well, one of the major challenges, I think, creating a small business like this in a major organization is obviously a strong governance around it. So in a small business like this, we need to be able to make mistakes. We need to be able to try. We need to be able to react quickly and change the course of action and take decisions quite rapidly. And it creates a pressure in the rest of the organization if the structure is not well thought. I experienced this firsthand, because at the beginning of ePack, we were actually sitting under the packaging division. And because we needed this time to basically find our product fit in the market and define our go-to-market strategy, we essentially changed that governance, and we went under the group head of strategy, which was very, very near the top, reporting to the CEO of the group, which allowed us to essentially get this dynamism and speed to take decisions, without losing the compliance.
You mentioned there in your answer that obviously go-to-market strategy was a focus. I'm wondering, maybe did your time in LEK stand you in good stead for that?
Definitely, Tim. Actually, I think my period in working in strategy consulting certainly helped me since the beginning in this project. I needed 1 year of planning before actually launching ePack, and being able to get all the strategic frameworks and be able to analyze that industry. Certainly my time at LEK helped with all the commercial due diligences I did during my time there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought that might be the case. And I guess just back to sort of ePack, have you got any sort of advice for anyone who may well be listening to this, who's thinking sort of, I could sort of do a sort of entrepreneurial project internally? Do you have any advice for those people?
Oh, plenty of plenty of learnings and advice. I think, starting an entrepreneurship project like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I think it's a very interesting because you have the benefit of essentially a major corporation supporting you. So you don't actually have cash flow issues, or you don't you don't need to be thinking about all the rounding, the rounds, funding, etc., the Series A, the Series Bs, etc. But on the other hand, you have also some constraints. Yeah, actually, the other side of not being able to get external investment is that you don't benefit from a lot of resources to start away. So you need to kind of grow in an organic way, which I think at the end, looking back, is also good because it really forces you to get things right, yeah, and to spend some time and to spend a lot of time actually thinking about the right way of doing things instead of just trying to get results quickly because your cash is burning and you need to go through your next rounds of funding. I think in terms of advice, what I would say is, as I said before, I think governance is a key element. You need to be in a setting, in a framework in the organization that you are able to make mistakes and take decisions quickly. Fail fast, I think, is the word here. And I think there is also a very strong component of change management. Yeah, especially if the business that you are creating disrupts or changes or is significantly different from the main activity of the company. And I faced this firsthand since ePack was all about selling digitally through an online website, through a stock and serve model, right? Whereas the Smith as a company is more oriented through big key accounts and no stock at all. So essentially on-demand production. So a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders in the organization didn't understand or didn't saw why we were doing this essentially, right? So although I had the support from the very top of the organization, I had to spend a lot of time speaking with the local top management teams in the different countries and different areas to gather engagement and to gather support to make the business work.
No, brilliant. And then obviously talent perspective, how did you find that in terms of maybe, team responsibilities, dynamics, maybe even did some hiring? Just talk us through that.
Indeed. So we were 3 people, and at the end we were around a team of 30 people. So the team did quite a big growth throughout those years. At ePack, we were a startup, so we had this upside, that we are going to grow fast, etc. But at the same time, we were in an industry that is, let's be honest, not very attractive to younger talent, right? So, however, one of the key elements for us to capture talent was our mission, yeah. And in our case, we really were working under a purpose of promoting and selling sustainable packaging in the market. So there was a big component of CSR, a big component of changing the way things are done, and obviously selling sustainable packaging instead of plastics, right? And I felt that this, it certainly resonated to me. So I was very passionate about it. And most of my team actually decided to join ePack when after they talked with me and after they saw this passion, they decided to come on board.
Look, I think that sort of brings us to the end of the podcast. I think, it's been great to sort of get your insights, great to hear more about your journey, your experiences along the way. I think a lot of what you've said, our listeners will definitely find interesting. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing, your thoughts.
Thank you, Tim. Happy to have some questions offline. And if anyone wants to reach out and get a little bit more advice, I'm happy to help.